what's up, my game fan? Welcome back to some more Lair Trilogy. I didn't intend on covering this game again, but it seemed to do fairly well last week, so I figured, you know what, let's sit down and do the other two games. Just give my thoughts on them a little bit while I struggle through the input madness that we dealt with last week. So, now let me just today, we're doing Lair 2, Time Warp, the most unnecessary sequel in existence. That is definitely not that great, but I still like it. Spirited away to a wrinkle in time by the evil wizard Mordroc, Princess Daphne will be forced to marry the wicked Mordroc unless Dirk can save her. Once the casket of doom has opened, Mordroc will place the death ring upon Daphne's finger in marriage, and she will be lost forever in the Time Warp. That's my best impression of the trailer that you're ever gonna get out of me. So, yeah. Okay, what are the extras for Lair 2? Pirate animation. What's pirate animation? Hold on, okay, we're gonna check. What's pirate animation? Oh, is this concept art for an unfinished bonus level? Ah! So there were plans to go to a pirate level. Huh. Neat. I actually never knew that. I know a fair amount about Lair, but I never knew there was... Huh. That's kind of cool. I never actually knew that. That is... You know what? For as rushed as this port feels, I can say, you know what? I learned something today. Okay, no, we're getting that off of Director's Cut right now. I said right now, thank you. Because, also, we're gonna set this to unlimited Wait. Oh, good, we can't set it to unlimited lives. Okay, that's gonna be a pain if I die, because Time Warp, see, the thing with Lair is that there was a lot of levels, but they were short, so you only had to memorize a certain number of commands per room. So that's a lot easier than it is to memorize a couple rooms that are really long. Here's the problem. Lair 2 is that, so if you mess up once, you gotta do the whole level over again, except for the first level. That's the only level that actually gives you checkpoints. So that's a little painful. How to play? Yeah. Sword, direction controls, cool. Let's do this thing. See if the input controls are any better this time around. Alright, starts off pretty simple with 3 lefts. We'll see how this goes. It's funny, I actually had a hard time getting this game to run when I first. Oh, that wasn't Bennett, but that was me going down too early. Okay. When I first got this game, I was having trouble getting it to run properly, just because we bought the DVD, and I didn't know if I didn't know if it worked like the original Lair, and I had to do it on a DVD player if I had to. If I had to do it, because we tried to do it on my PC, which ran about as efficiently as a potato. Although potatoes can run clocks, so I don't know how efficient that is. Okay, that still is in the game. Another thing that Lair 2 does is these golden items. That's honestly a bigger FU than anything else this game does, because the thing is, you have to collect all the gold. You didn't have to do it in the DVD version, which was the version I played, which is probably... Wait, no, you did! I lied. You did do it. I just remembered, because I got pranked, and when I got to the end, it's like, hey, guess what? You get pranked. You gotta go back and find the gold stuff that you missed before. So, if you do not collect all these golden items, you... Oh, that was... I hit... Okay. That was a combination of poor input and me, because I hit the sword, but I also hit the left button, so it registered the wrong one, not the right one. Okay, cool. See, this is why I want unlimited lives Dragons 2, because the rooms are so long. Anyway, also, you don't have to collect the gold items. In fact, I'm pretty sure if you try to collect the gold items more than once, the game will tell you to bug off, so I don't recommend doing that. No, yeah, but you have to, there's at least one golden item hidden in every single level, and if you do not collect them all, you cannot get to the final level, which is a little BS, because there's absolutely not... Here's the thing, right? The way that you can justify the insane amount of moves in this version of Dragon's Lair is that the way you have to move, or if you have to use your sword, like for instance, The move there was sword, move here is sword. The sword flashes on the screen, you'll notice. Right here I have to jump to the ledge, so I have to move to the right. And it flashed. That stuff flashes. The wings just flash, go left, flash to the right, go right. So, these yellow flashes that indicate generally where you're supposed to go, or what you're supposed to do, and that is how you could I still don't think you can justify it, just because sometimes the reaction time you have isn't all that great in-game. So, if you mess up once, you gotta go all the way back to the beginning. Whereas in the original Dragon's Lair, the rooms weren't all that long, so you don't really miss out on a whole... you fail it, but you get to come back later and try it again. And you don't miss a whole lot because the only real... The longest two rooms... Okay, longest... Nah! I pressed the wrong button. God. See, this is what I hate. Now I have to do that whole level over again. Great. Phenomenal. So what's it? So... Oh my god, where was I? Yeah, so, yeah, you failed, and you messed it up, and you don't get to finish that level now, but you get to come back to it later, and you don't really miss a whole lot, because the room was pretty short. The three longest rooms are the Whirlpool Rapids... Boulder, Whirlpool, Boulder, Rapid, Whirlpool. That's the order that I could not say out loud for some reason. So that's fun. And the next one was Mudmen. That was the next longest, and then Dragon's Lair I think is the longest, or if it's not the longest, it's definitely the hardest, because the other rooms, they're long, but they're not complicated. They pretty much boil down to either the exact same moveset every time, or practically the exact same moveset every time. So, sorry, if not practically, then a pattern, a very recognizable pattern. For instance, in the Whirlpool level, it was either left, right, left, right, left, right, or up. I hit what do you mean? I hit sword. I hit the button. What do you mean? Oh my god, what are these inputs? What is this port? Yeah, see, this is why I wanted unlimited lives, because this stuff's gonna happen, and it's gonna make playing this, or beating this, a pain in the butt, because I'm gonna have to... I don't even know why I'm trying, because I know I'm gonna fail, and there's no checkpoint system, which means I have to do the whole thing over again, and it's just like... Anyway, what was I on about? Oh, yeah, so, for instance, and then the Mudman room is one sword, and then a bunch of ups. So that's not all that complicated. Dragon's Lair is the absolute hardest, because it's long, and there's no real pattern to the buttons you have to press. So that's why the Dragon's Lair is the last room, because it is the most complicated. It is the most complicated, and it's the hardest. But in this game, all the levels are like that, which makes me... Like, when I first played, I thought this was a... direct-to-DVD sequel, not an actual arcade release. So when I found out that it was in the arcade, I'm like... What do you mean it was in the arcade? How in the world could anybody... Because first off, the other thing too is that the reason why the levels were so short is because you needed to be able... Because, remember, it's in an arcade, right? So you need to be able, for one person, if they're really good, they get a long way. But if they're not, they mess up and then they go on to the next person. That's how it should be. If you're good at the game, you get to keep playing. If you're not, then you don't. But the problem is that even if you know all the moves on the back of your hand, it still only takes like a little less than 10 minutes to get through. Which I think it's probably similar to this game, but the problem is that because the rooms are so long, okay, this always messes me up. Is it up this time? Okay, good. In each different port of the game, the button you have to press to get that card is different. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's right. I don't know, which one was it going to be? Okay. So that was that. And then, yeah, so what was I on about? Oh, yeah. Because the rooms are so long, I found it very hard to believe. Alright, so we've had a deathless run up until this point, and I think it might have something to do with the fact that I'm starting to use the control stick, like the left analog stick, for my directional movements instead of the D-pad, because for the left control stick, my finger's just always on it, and I can move it in any direction I want at any given time. Whereas the D-pad, I have to move my finger around to which one I want to press, and then press it. So I think this might be a little easier, because, yeah, that was... definitely run up until this point. So I think this. I wonder if that. I wonder if that might be. Never mind. I lied. The input issues are still definitely as problematic because Okay, let's see. Does this happen again? What are these inputs? Like, this is legitimately starting to piss me off. I hit left. Okay, this time it worked. This time it freaking worked. What are these inputs? Also, this level is the absolute weirdest of all of the ones in the game. Oh, also, they try to troll you here because see that looks like a golden item. Okay, so okay, maybe you could be convinced that okay, it's a flame, right? You're not supposed to grab it, but what are these inputs? I hit left. What are these inputs? What I hit right? I hit right. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh my god, this is... Are you entertained by this? Are you entertained by me struggling to find the precise nanosecond that I have to hit these buttons in order to not commit die? Are you like, do you enjoy this? Is this content you want to see? Anyway, yeah, so... It fooled me, at least, into believing that the flaming swords were things that I was supposed to grab as golden items. Now, maybe that was just a fool's assumption on my part, and very well, maybe. But hey, it tricked me. And I feel like if they're going for the whole get a bunch of gold and stuff aspect, they may not want to include it, because it's out of the way, and previously the problem is that when previously they've all been hovering over the air, and then you see that freaking the flame sword hovering over the air, you run the risk of convincing people that is a thing you are supposed to. What are these inputs? Okay, that was actually that is not a move in any other version of the game I have ever played. In no, and I mean no, version of this game have you ever had to hit the right button to grab the apple when the freaking snake boy gives it to you. That is not a thing you have ever had to do in any previous version of this game. What is this port? Please, somebody explain to me what this port is. It's just like... The input delay combined with this new move is just like, what is this port? And maybe it's just that no, it can't be that, because this problem was happening in, yeah, like right there, and it happened so quick too. It happened so quick. That isn't even an input delay thing. That's a matter of just, oh, you didn't see it flash a millisecond before you had to. Well, that's just too bad for you now, isn't it? Okay, this section can get a little bit chaotic because you can't see your character, so you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. Here's the thing, right? The previous game required you to have good reactions. It did not require you to have laser-fast reactions to succeed, right? That's not a thing that you needed. You needed to be able to react intelligently to what was... What was that? I hit the left button! Okay, I'm making a Spaces video later today. I'm strongly considering setting up a camera just to watch my hand movements so you can see that I am hitting everything at the exact moment that I need to. And this game is still just like, nah, you don't get to succeed. Why? Because screw you, that's why. Also, the sword use in this game is excessive. Like, the sword is your... Oh, we finally encountered our first dreaded mirror level of the playthrough, I see. Anyway, what's it? The sword is your get-out-of-jail-free card for basically almost everything in this game. Like, the amount of stuff, like, I'm about to use my sword, like that. I used to use my sword to close the cup. The amount of things in this game you use your sword to do compared to the last game is a little excessive. I don't know. Also, this piano sequence is just when we go from... We go from mildly insane to completely off the walls batshit crazy. It's like, what the actual... Like, what is going on here? Did I get this? It's like... Oh, And I get I get the symbolism here, right? It's meant to be a creative gust, and he's making his music and all that, and it's like, okay, great. But, I mean, look at this. And did you see that right there? They had to have a second screen in the corner of the main screen just so you could see what your character was doing and react to it. It's like, if there's that much crap going on the screen that you can't even see what your character is doing and are therefore unable to intelligently react to what he's doing, maybe you should reconsider what you're saying. And he did it, and he did it again! I forgot he did it a second time. It's like, what? And it's like, in a game that's all about reacting to what's going on around you, why would you make the background so detailed and complicated with so much extra flair going on around you that you literally have to create a subsection of the screen entirely dedicated to your character just so you can do that in the first place? Okay, that was my fault. I took my hand off the controller for a second and I didn't react fast enough. That's... Oh my god. Okay, I finally made it back to this level. Okay, now, what I was trying to say is I feel like they're trying to show you how much more detailed these levels are than the original, more than they are actually trying to tell, than they are actually trying to provide a fair experience. Because like I was trying to say earlier, the first game required you to have good reaction time, good reaction time, and also the ability to intelligently say, hey, this is probably the best course of action here. This game requires that, but it's less about, hey, what would be the best thing to do here, because the game outright tells you, hey, this is what you should do. You should go here. Now you should go here. It's not about quick decision making and trying to figure out, hey, what is the best course of action here? Like, what's the correct move, and trying to do that quickly while under pressure. It's not about that in this game. This game is about, hey, we tell you exactly what you need to do. Therefore, you should have no excuse to not just... That's the thing. It's no longer about decision making. It's about reaction time, which is a way they could have gone with this game. Obviously, it's a design choice. I can't really fault them for it. I just don't think it was the correct design, just because part of the appeal of Dragon was that it wasn't solely about reaction. It was that you needed to have good reaction time. You didn't need to have perfect reaction time like you do in this freaking game. But the main reason is because you were able to think, hey, what can we do? Like, what... I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? What the hell do you mean I've missed some treasures? Wait a second. No. No, the game wouldn't be that stupid. No. The game wouldn't be that stupid. Right? Right? Tell me this port isn't that terrible. Oh no, it's actually that terrible. Oh my god, why is this port so bad? Why is this port so bad? Okay, do you know what they did? Would you like to know what they did? Here's what they did. They made it so that if you die in a level and you do not recollect the item, you're screwed. You gotta collect it again. Here's the problem. The original Dragon's Lair 2 and the original Dragon's Lair Trilogy game did not work like that. If you get the item once, you have it forever. In this abomination of a port, if you die, you have to get it again. What the... And it doesn't even make any sense that this is like... This is my biggest... Why are you even required to go get... Like, what story reason is there for getting these golden items? Like, okay, you wanted to add an extra element of challenge to the gameplay, which you already did by the fact that you have to have laser-accurate precision. You have to have laser-perfect reaction time, or else you just die. So that's already an extra element of challenge right there. But okay, fine. You wanted to add a little bit of searching to this game. You wanted to make it so that there's little things you have to find in all the different levels. Okay, fine. Cool. Great. But why? It's like, make them a bonus thing. Like, okay, this is honestly, I would rather have you do what, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd rather have you do what you did in Dragon's Lair 3D, where you don't get anything for getting them. They're just like, it's like personal achievement status that you found all the treasures, right? That honestly works better here. Because if you aren't the game doesn't tell you to look for these things, right? So if you don't know to look... Okay, great. It tells you to look for them in the tutorial, which was not available in the arcade release of this game. If you do not know to look for these treasures, you are screwed. It is not fair that they don't tell you to get these golden things, and you therefore don't know that if you don't get them, you can't go to the final level. That is such broken game design. Why is that even a thing that they decided was a good, intelligent decision to put into the sequel to Dragon's Lair? What is this port? What are these inputs? I just thought of something else. Not only did they put a second screen there for you to look at your own character, that's not even where you need to look in order to see where the flash is coming from. What is this? What? Oh my god. Why? I'm sorry I'm getting so heated over this because I love Dragon's Lair. You've seen me. I've done one walkthrough of the original and then a remastered walkthrough when, like, I did the original walkthrough back in 2014 and then a remastered version of the walkthrough just because I thought, you know what? I love this game enough that I should be able to deliver a higher quality walkthrough than what I gave back in 2014. I owe it to myself and the people who care about Dragon's Lair to do that. I love this franchise. I always have, and I even enjoy this game when I'm not committing. It's like, what? Okay, I'll grab the sword because I don't remember. It's like, this could have been so good, right? This could have been the port we all wanted. Actually, no, not even the port we all wanted, because I honestly didn't. I was perfectly content with replaying all the ones on the Wii version just on the Wii U instead. But I guess because a lot of people don't have Wii U's anymore, they made it for the Switch, which is fair. But why can't you make it as good as the way you did on the Wii U? It's like, I mean on the Wii. How is it that the version you released on the Wii is better with input command and a bunch of other stuff than this version? I fail to understand, because I can't possibly imagine that it was because of a lack of passion. I refuse to accept that, given because I know how the developers of this game work. I refuse to accept that is the reason why this port is as poorly done as it is. There's no freaking way. But you know what? We finally made it to the final boss, and now the reason why I did not keep Director's Cut mode turned on is because Director's Cut mode is so short and contrived. Like, you don't get this. You get, in the original version, you get this big battle, which, by the way, I really hate the entire concept of Daphne turning into this giant Ursula-like monster thing to fight. But I'll tell you what, it's a heck of a lot cooler to navigate across this monster than it is to... Like, there's like 5 moves in the Director's Cut version, which I guess is an improvement, if only because one of my early complaints is that, what are these inputs? What are these inputs? Like, actually, where is this supposed to be taking place? Because we're gonna see in a minute here that it doesn't... Okay, here, you know, I'll refrain from talking about that until we actually get to this next part, which, by the way, this next part, this right here, this is supposed to be a new scene. Like a new room, if you will. Not the same thing that we just played, which I guess is a good thing, because if it wasn't, then we would have to do that whole battle over again, and that would not be, that wouldn't sit well with people. Also, another thing is that this game focuses a lot on story, right? It's more story-centric than the original, but the problem is that when you're trying so hard to look for these when you're trying so hard and spending so much time looking for these yellow flashes, there's really no time to actually get invested in the story and care about what's going on, right? Because in this scene, Dirk is sad about Daphne being dead, as far as he's concerned, and so he fights off these bats. This would have emotional resonance if I wasn't scanning the screen, constantly looking for what's flashing yellow, so I can make the next move properly without dying. That's why the original game didn't really focus on that a whole lot. It focused on, oh, for God's sake. Also, hold it, what was that death? What was that death? Okay, there's so much inconsistency. Okay, so, minor thing. She kicks off her shoes, and then the next frame they're back on again. Minor, whatever, but still. That shot was, I died, so it cut to the death of me falling from the sky with my wings on, and Daphne in the dress she was wearing in the ancient times scene. Like, actually what? It's just, I don't know. I don't know. And it was a lot easier to get invested in what was going on in the first game, because in the first game, you weren't looking for yellow flashes, you were looking at what was going on, you were getting invested in, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, let me figure out what the best course of action here would be. So you're invested in the world, right? You're invested in what's going on because you have to react to what's going on. In this game, it's just, you're so hyper-focused on looking for the color yellow that you don't really have time to appreciate what's going on. And also, the reason, so you'll notice, we didn't actually travel through time there, we just kind of moved forward. So what was the point in going through all those different time periods if the end result was just going to put us back here anyway? And it's just, oh god, why? Why did you have to destroy these games with this port? Alright, well, next up on the agenda is to do Space Ace, and then I'm done with this. I'm gonna play the Wii version just to cleanse myself of this devastation. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next episode of the 10-minute game. As this is signing off, saying hope you have a fantastic good day, and I will catch you time for some more Dragons for Space Ace today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Goodbye.